Hey guys, welcome back to another video. I'm done with cheap pod lights. Can't see out of them, they're basically useless. I think it's time for an upgrade. This company, Lasfit, reached out to me and said they saw a couple of my YouTube videos, liked what they saw, and they wanted me to test out a couple of their products. And for 2 weeks, use code JKU392Adventures for 20% off their whole website. They said, hey, we've got some nice LED lights that you could definitely benefit from. I already built these lights. I don't need an upgrade. They already are upgraded. I'm willing to test other products. They're like, oh, how about some upgraded switchbacks? What I really need, though, is to get rid of these $13 ditch lights from Amazon. I don't even use them. Can't use them. And they said, you know what, we've got just the thing. They've got a 3-inch LED pod. Before I decided to test their product and put it on my Jeep, I really wanted to look them up. So I did my research, looked them up on YouTube, Instagram, and I must say, I was actually impressed. They don't look like a cheap light. All of the reviews online are actually really good. So I said, you know what, that's something I would actually put on my Jeep. I actually have a set of off-brand LED pods on my Amazon shopping list. I have a buddy who's got some nice ones, and you know, they're $130, and I was going to be buying them. After seeing these, I am impressed. Before we actually get to the installing of these, let's just go right to some footage of the lights in use. Let's see how they actually look in the dark and off-roading with them. And after that, we will install them, and I will show you the best way to install them. And don't forget, we are getting rid of this orange turn signal light, and we're going to be upgrading our bulb to a Lasfit Switchback. This switchback does not require a load resistor, so you won't get hyperflash. Unlike the LEDs I installed in my brake lights, I did have to install a resistor, and I wish I would have seen these first, because those are not fun installing. So let's see these lights in action. There's the white running light versus the orange running light. And this is the regular white lens. Lights up that whole entire tree. And then this is the amber lens. Same thing. Lights everything up, just a little bit easier on the eyes. Here's a picture of the lights off and then on. You can see there are no hot spots. They're very even throughout.
You're okay.
With the amber lenses, they are very easy on the eyes when off-roading.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Literally light up this whole canyon. Alright, let's go ahead and head back into the installation of these lights. These lights come nicely packaged in here, so quality packaging is important. Definitely don't want them bouncing around inside while they're being mailed to you, so packaging is important for sure. Comes with these brackets. It looks like this is the hardware that comes with the lights. Nice weather sealed plugs, a couple stickers, a couple tools for mounting the lights to the bracket, and then mounting the bracket to the Jeep bracket or any vehicle that you're getting the actual bracket for that. A installation kit. Kit comes with a relay, comes with the plugs for each light, battery cables with the inline fuse, and then this is the switch to mount inside the cab. I won't be using essentially any of this besides the plugs to reach to each light, but I will show you guys how to install this because not everybody has an S-Pod like I do. So let's start with a simple installation of the wiring harness. But first, let me show you the brackets that are required to use on the Jeep Wrangler. These brackets can be acquired from Amazon, $12 for the bracket. They do not come with the ditch lights, so you are required to buy a bracket. So we will start with installing a new bracket. That way, you know how to install these yourselves. It is a T40 Torx bit. Take a new bracket, you're going to install this foam padding on the backside. And then you can reinstall the bolts. And do the same for the other side. So next we can actually mount the lights, but before we do that, I want to install these amber filters that I purchased separately. Better to have amber ditch lights, that way you can cut through the dust, especially the Arizona dust. So it comes with a provided Allen wrench. Take off these 2 screws in the front, and you're going to take off the 2 screws in the back. Set these aside for later if you decide to use them. And then we can install the new ones. Take off this green wrapping paper that's on them. Wipe it down with a microfiber cloth. Reinstall the bolts. Then you repeat the same steps for the other one. So let's go ahead and install the hardware so we can put these on the Jeep. Pretty self-explanatory on how to install them. You got the bolt, lock washer, then your washer. Then you got the bracket, and it fits really only one way on here. Because if you turn it around the other way, it'll end up bottoming out. So that's the orientation that it goes. And then take your bolt, put it through, and then once it's through, you're gonna have one of these specialty type of washers that'll go on first. Then you'll put it on the bracket, then you'll put this one underneath it. So these 2 washers will sandwich the Jeep bracket. Then you do your washer, lock washer, and then your nut. So let's install it on the Jeep. Again, you got this special washer. And on the bottom, regular washer, lock washer, and then the nut. Alright, then you tighten it down. Next step is wiring. First we need to loosen up these cowl bolts. That is where the wires are going to feed through. We'll loosen it up on both sides. Once you loosen these 4 bolts, you can actually pry this guy up a little bit. A little rag under there. So you can go ahead and shove the wire inside here, and it's going to want to kind of stay in this corner area. And from under the hood, you can now reach the connector for the light. Same with the other side. We're not actually going to use the wiring harness, but I'm going to show you guys how to hook this up, just in case you don't have an S-Pod like I do. So let's start first just by plugging it in. Because the first thing I recommend is to test the lights. Take our ground and our power and wire them up. Green for on, red for off. Actually a pretty nice switch if you choose to use this. So one of the easiest ways into the cabin, on the passenger side there's this little hole here, and it's under this little panel. You could shove a screwdriver through here. There's just insulation, and you can feed the wire through there, and that will have the wire pop out right here. That is the easiest way to get into the cabin for Jeep Wranglers. I go under the battery. There's a grommet. You still have to poke through it with the screwdriver, and it's pretty difficult to get through, but that's where I ran all my subwoofer wires, and that will end up popping out under the carpet. With this, poke it through right here, and you can bring the wiring up under the dash inside here, bring it under the carpet, or you can bring it out behind the dash and bring it all the way around under the windshield there to the driver's side. I'm going to be attaching it right here. So instead of using this relay, which is actually a pretty nice wire setup, Wire seems like good quality, nice and thick, inline fuse. We're going to be tapping into my S-Pod here, so we'll need a power and a ground, and then we will feed it around to there where it'll split to both lights. So I got both lights here. I'm going to cut these. I'm going to connect them to one wire for the power, one wire for the ground, and then I'll bring those two wires, power and ground, right to here. I'm going to be adding another inline fuse. I'll be taking out the one that is in the relay kit. So I'm going to put the appropriate ends on here that will tap into my S-Pod. So I've got the wire routed up here, and I've got them stranded together. Since I'm putting them in the S-Pod, it is now time to cut them. So then we'll connect the positive and positive together, and the ground and ground together. Let's see if they turn on with the switch pod. And they do. So now we can clean up our wiring, and then we can go for a test drive. Don't forget to stay hydrated when you're out working in the Jeep. Got the inside buttoned up, so now you can put back these bolts here. Next, we're going to be installing the switchback turn signals. These are advertised as canvas ready, meaning you're not going to get the hyper flash when you use these, and you do not need any type of capacitor, which are very annoying to install. I also picked up a set of clear front turn signals, but you don't have to pick those up because this does have an orange bulb in it, and it does have the white bulb. Normally on the Jeep JKs, the headlights are the DRLs. If you do want the orange turn signal lights to be the DRLs, you will need to install a load capacitor or resistor. It's still going to be brighter than the stock halogen bulb with the orange lens. So let's go ahead and install these, and I'll show you what it takes to do that. Very simple for these. Right back here inside the stock housing, you can unplug the plug. Then you'll twist the actual bulb to the left. That's how you remove this bulb. And we'll pull this out of here, and we'll put the LED in here. One step further, if you're going to be switching to the clear lens like I did, to remove it, there's tiny little prongs inside here that you push, and it just pops out. Super easy. Take your LED bulb, pops in just like that. Before you install it, plug in the wiring harness, then turn your hazards on. Make sure it works. Then you can turn your running lights on. And you can see that it lights up white. So that means it works. And if you notice, we didn't get the hyper flash. So now you can reinstall the bulb. Give it a good twist. Just like that, that bulb is installed. So you can repeat it on the other side. Alright, so after playing with these lights for a week in Utah for Trail Hero, I would say I'm definitely impressed. There's no hot spots. They are a true floodlight. They're very easy on the eyes, and you can definitely see a lot with them. You see how it lights up this whole building. Just very good lights, especially for the price. I think these go for $120, so definitely impressed. Some of the other lights that I noticed had hot spots in them, and They just weren't as even throughout. So very impressed with these. Left side is the LED switchback. The right side is the stock halogen bulb. So let me show a little bit of difference on brightness with those. So this is my running light. This is the running light of the stock halogen bulb. I tell you, this is a lot brighter. Video does make it look a little brighter than it actually is, but it is definitely shining noticeably brighter than the stock halogen. And again, you can see on the right side is the stock halogen, and the left side is the switchback LED, and that is so much brighter. Such a big difference. Here I'm covering up the switchback. Then I'll cover up the halogen one. You can see the difference for yourself. I mean, all in the building is getting lit up. So again, I am very impressed. That's just, it's so bright. I love it. Definitely safety. And on the rear, I also have this bar here. So that is nice and bright too. So again, these are definitely mods that I like having on my Jeep. I mean, safety is important, and that does make my Jeep a lot safer. Overall, I would recommend both of these products. These LED pods are definitely nice. I want to try the amber ones. This is the yellow. I want to try the amber out, but I would say this is definitely a major upgrade. So 100% recommend this. So again, don't forget to like and subscribe, and use my code for 20% off their website for the next 2 weeks.